Right, hello everybody. So it's been a bit since I did a story time. I think the last one was the CSJ one. And ever since then, I have struggled to find a new story time that I can do. As I'm sure there's plenty of others I could actually tell you. But I just can't remember a lot of them. So, I asked a few people about what story time I should do. And Mr. Kyron Richardson gave me a story time that I am part involved in. That's the reason why I'm doing this story in particular, because I'm involved. If I wasn't involved in this, I wouldn't obviously tell it. So yeah, basically, this is a story about a kid named Pedo Atkins, as we call him. He is in my town. He works at Poundland, which people have seen him there. And whenever like our group goes in there, he hides because he is literally like shit scared of just our entire group. Now, he is friends with Lewis789, another kid, who I talked about on another story time, who is also at my college, bearing in mind. So that's just weird. It's not nice having to sometimes see him there, but yeah. I also had like one proper interaction with him when I, for some reason, used to talk with Lewis, and he was just a massive prick. Arrogant as shit. This was in year 8, bearing in mind, so this is probably when like the timeline of the story first starts, or near it. So, basically, let's start off to where he starts dating Kyron's sister. And instantly, Kyron does not like Atkins because he's just an arrogant prick. He's a cunt. And he's just unlikable. Like even with my first interaction, like it was just very common that that he was just an arrogant cunt. He was into the Yu-Gi-Oh shit. You know, he's a fucking. How can I put this without sounding nasty? Obviously not towards him, but just on the weirdo side. And he also was a part of the group that I mentioned in the how I was involved with the weird group video. He was in that group as well, and was dating someone in year 9 when he was in year 11. uh, I don't know if I mentioned the story time, but someone who I said had fucking dinosaur hands, yeah, he was dating her, and still was for a long period of time. And he was very weird. So when when he started getting a slight bit more comfortable in our group, we thought, you know, we may as well just start toying around with him like we did all the other ones in that group. But we'll get to that. So yeah, he's dating Kyron's sister, and I'm not sure how they break up. I'm not sure how it happened, but hey, here we are. So fast forward to 2020. Um, I only just remember him like fully, like I forgot about him for like 2019, because the first time I ever met him was in September 2018. So I didn't really have any interaction with him for a good year. But at the start of 2020, I joined the group I'm with now, and the other group, the weird group that I distanced myself from, was starting to like hang near my new group, which was a bit of a piss take. But what can you do? And he was getting pretty comfortable, you could say. You know, he was more like he was getting used to hanging around us, and would, how can you put it? He would act hard in front of our mates and like just start on them thinking he's the shit when he isn't, because he walks away from anyone and says he's a quote unquote pacifist. Again, we'll get into that. Um, so we it was me, Kieran, Zach, and someone else in a mic chat the day before we just like fucked with him. So what we were planning was we had this bottle of water, right? That was 3 weeks old, with dirt, grass, leaves, just disgusting shit in that whole bottle, waiting to be used. Now, and we used the opportunity to use it against him. But originally, I was just gonna be the backup of this plan, because I'm pretty sure it was him and Zach planning it, and I didn't really get a side in it. But like I got the like I was able to get involved in the like plan more than what they did. So it's the next day. It's break. We are we're near the assembly hall, close near there, and he's by the wall, right? And we're just all chilling. And this is where the plan goes into like commotion. So Kyron's asking everybody to push him like near Peter Atkins, so that he can like spray the like disgusting ass water all over him and make him look like a fucking fool and make him look like more of a tramp than what he already did. But no one would do it. So in the last resort, he asked me to push him into Atkins. And at that time, I was only just getting used to actually having fun with a friend group, like like just having a laugh, like doing like just how can you say it? Stuff he wasn't allowed to do. I was only just getting used to that, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? And somehow I did an actual all right push, and he like sort of like chucks it, like not chucks the bottle at him, but he like chucks it to where the like water and like dirt, leaves and shit goes all over him. Now I don't think too much got on him, but it was enough to make him look fucking minging. And then and it goes all quiet, and then you've just got me and like Kyron just like and all of us just laughing, and he's with his fucking year 9 girlfriend and the fucking lesbian who Zach fucking forced onto my WhatsApp from one of the montages, and then they just walk with him. I'm assuming obviously to get him cleaned up, because that shit smelt. It made him smell worse than what he already did. Bearing in mind, this kid he was a rank human being. He he didn't wash, or if he did, he didn't do it properly. Uh, I'll explain a factor of why this is in a minute. But he smelled like shit. He looked like shit. Like no, to get what he looks like, imagine mixing the Manchester Bomber with like fucking Steve Harrington from Stranger Things with a shorter trim. You have got him, bro. He's literally a mix of the Manchester Bomber and Steve Harrington. He was that bad. um, and it didn't go well with the shit he did. So after we did that, I think it's either like it's either a few hours after or the next day. For some reason, I don't know why, a year seven comes up to Kyron and tells him that Mr. Atkins was chatting this year seven girl up. Kyron is fucking livid. I don't know what his response was. I'm pretty sure he was livid because I can remember the day I think he was on about it. He wasn't very happy with this, as no one would be, because you don't really want to be you don't want to be the associated group that has a pedo hanging around. Bearing in mind his year didn't like him, that's why he was hanging around with a bunch of year nines. I know it's very odd. Um, and then it's either like a few days or a week passes, or it's even the next day. I cannot remember exactly, but it is near the end of break. We are near the exam hall, like near the wall. We had two particular wall spots we would always hang out near. It was either near the exam, like just right in front of the exam hall, or right to the like right side of the. I'm just realised looking at this recording, it's showing the DM. So sorry, Kyron, if you watch this, I know you are going to. I didn't intentionally do that. I promise. You can still get me back for that, by the way, if you very so want to. But I know you're not going to. Yeah, fucking. And then the right side of the assembly hall was our other spot. Hold on, I've just lost me train of thought. Yeah, so it's near the end of break. We are near the exam hall, and Mr. Atkins is walking by. Sorry, Kyron. And to be and just as a funny little gag to piss him off, Kyron trips him up. Like not like he doesn't fall over, but he like fucking stumbles over. And this time, Mr. Atkins has got some balls, right? He has got some balls to actually say something. I can't remember exactly what he said. I think he just insulted Kyron. And then Kyron goes up in his face and then goes, if you're gonna talk like that, if you're gonna say shit like that, scrap me. And then then he goes, I'm a pacifist. Oh no! And then starts walking off. And I think he says something again, which as Kyron should. He goes, at least my family's in a bunch of pedos. I'm pretty sure that's what you said. Correct me if I'm wrong when we're in a mic chat. And Solid punches him in the back of the head, which he fucking like, bro, this was a hard hit because he fucking like stumbled forward, bro. And I think he just kept on walking. And then Kyron walks back near us and then he starts walking to his engineering lesson. Because I think the next lesson I had at that point was art, and he was off to engineering. So that happens. There is major tension, about what's going to happen. And mate, the tension that we felt on this was crazy. Oh, I never saw anything like this, bearing in mind. My primary was a very tame primary. I for some reason, then what think I went to a special primary, but I really didn't. It was a public school. Um, Mine was nothing like their primary, which similar things like what I had just witnessed used to happen. So I wasn't used to this. So I was fucking like hyped up, bro. I was like I was shocked that this ever happened. And the tension was mad, and especially with this group, because something like this never really happened. And dramas would normally be getting started by, well, Kyron and someone else. So yeah, it now fast forward, I'd say either like a day or two, I'm not too sure. Apparently, rumor was going around that Atkins was saying that he would batter Kyron and that he would scrap him. Telling all the ones in his group but our group because he just knew he wouldn't be able to get away with that. And Kyron found out about this. So it's, I believe, break time. Um, I don't know what lesson I was in. All I know is I remember walking outside with Kyron that break. So it was probably either English or maths. And then he goes up to his sister and then just starts going on about it. And then he grabs this fucking kid's glove. I'm not going to say his name because he's a fucking weirdo as well. Grabs his glove and then walks up to Atkins. Puts his hand on his shoulder. Bearing in mind, he comes up from behind. Puts his arm on his shoulder. And he's like, right, mate. And I'm watching in absolute honour that I get to watch this go down. And then another person from another story time, who I mentioned, is the only one trying to stop this. Some people who he hung around with didn't really like him. That lesbian being one of them. Just no one was saying anything except for her, and I think at one point I think I just literally just told her straight up, shut the fuck up. I don't know why. I was a bit of a knob, but I really wanted to see this go down. And then I think Kyron says to him like, "So what's this about that you're gonna like strap me or something?" And at this point, he is silent. He is shivering in his boots. His shivers have been timbered. His corner's been, well, no, he wasn't mad. He was just more silent and probably shitting himself. And there he goes again to walk off. And Kyron can't have this, right? So for a final ending of this like weak tension, he goes up like behind him again with a harder punch this time. Proper belts him in the back of the head. I'm watching again in absolute honour that I get to watch this. And then he goes, "I'll call the police. I'll call the police." And then I think Kyron goes like, "Oh, go on then. It'd be fucking funny or something." I can't exactly remember. And then walks off, and then I think just sits next to a teacher and tells him about it. But the thing is, though, that teacher did. Sorry, my controller died. So yeah, that the teacher never didn't give any punishment to Kyron, as I'm sure he was just wanting it to be over with. And then at that point, the beef slowed down. But the aftermath of this, right? So, someone who we knew goes up to Kyron, and he looks at his knuckle, and he's like, mate, you have dandruff on your knuckle. Or something like that. And then Kyron looks at his knuckle. He has, from the hit that he got to the back of Atkins' head, he got like sprinkles of dandruff like on his fucking knuckle, and that's another factor to how he didn't wash. Um, I think this happened to him twice, but I don't know if he noticed the first time. I don't know if it was the first time he noticed or if it was the second time. But either way, he punched him that hard, dandruff flew on his knuckle, mate. And bro, like the smell is bad enough, but having his fucking dandruff on your knuckle, mate. Oh, mate. Nah, fam. But yeah, from this point, I think it's either the next day or something. I wasn't there for this, and I wish I was. Lewis 789 makes a return to this. He makes his appearance in this story. Goes up to Kyron, and he's like, "Can you not hit my friend, please?" This fucking sped genuinely asked him to not hit his friend, as if he didn't do anything wrong. As if Atkins was in the right and Kyron was in the wrong, bro. And obviously they just laughed in his face, and he like just walks off. Lewis probably thought he was the like big one in the situation, standing up to them, but he didn't do shit. He just got laughed at. Darn it, my friend. Fucking hell. Oh no, I was I wasn't there to witness that, but I really wish I was, bro. And now from this point onwards, whenever Kyron sees him out and about, he will go up to him. Normally when he's on his bike, he will go up to him, go up to his ear, right, and just go, peanut pie, and he will shit himself and just start walking off. Even if he's talking to someone, he will just walk off from them. When we we went into year 10, Kyron saw him still chatting up like fucking yes Evans and shit, which is mad odd. Because technically, I'm pretty sure at this point he was still with fucking the girl with diabetes. So, um, he was basically just going behind her back talking to younger fucking girls, mate. And that's just odd. He works in Poundland. Very fitting for him. Now I'm not going to mention that one because I reckon YouTube wouldn't like if I said that one. But it involves us seeing the aftermath of something involving his bloodline, laughing about it, and then threatening to do some very bad stuff. If you ask in the comments or if you DM me or something, I'll tell you what it is. But yeah, that is basically the story of Callum Atkins. Yeah, I just said his full name. Bollocks, but there you go. Who cares? Uh, from that point on, he never went near us and always would just stay away, as he should, because he's a weirdo. He's an odd human being, and I'm very glad I got to like be a part of this story somehow, even if it's in one instance. But hey ho. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this sort of different story time. I know it's not like an experience I had, but at least I was involved in this one instead of just telling someone else's story for them without me being even somewhat involved. Because this is technically his like funny story, but I'm involved, so instantly that means I get to talk about it, and I don't care. But yeah, that was the story time. Hope you enjoyed. If I can think of any others, right, I will try my fucking hardest. I really want to. I'm gonna ask so many people. Well, I'm not gonna ask so many people, but I'm gonna ask a good few people on some old stories that I could length out into a good 20, 40 minute story time. So yeah, thanks for watching. And in a bit, I'm gonna stop stalling in a bit.